3 disturbing children's drawings from Millhaven. Every drawing tells you something about the person who made it. That's what we're taught anyway. Draw a family and you'll see how a child sees love. Draw a house and you'll see how they see home. But sometimes a drawing isn't telling you about the artist at all. Sometimes it's telling you about something the artist saw, something that hasn't finished happening yet. These are 3 stories sent in by people who kept the drawings, who still have them, in fact, tucked away in boxes they don't open anymore. Each one starts the same way every childhood does, with a crayon, a blank page, and a kid who didn't know they were drawing something true. Let's get into it. Story 1. The Red House on Thistle Lane. When I was 7, my little brother Caleb started drawing the same house over and over. Red brick, black windows, a crooked chimney leaning like it was listening for something. He'd fill entire notebooks with it. Same angle every time, like he was tracing a photograph only he could see. We didn't think much of it. Caleb drew a lot of strange things back then. But one night our mom found a drawing under his bed that was different. In this one, there were 3 stick figures standing in the yard of the red house, and behind the window, upstairs, he'd drawn a 4th figure. No arms, no smile, just 2 black dots for eyes, staring straight out of the page. When she asked him who it was, he said very calmly, "That's the one who watches. He doesn't like when I draw the house, but I have to. If I stop, he comes closer." She laughed it off, told him to stop watching scary movies before bed. But a week later, our neighbor mentioned an old property on Thistle Lane that had burned down before we moved to Millhaven. A red brick house condemned for decades, the kind of place town records buried quietly. Caleb had never been there, had never seen a photo of it. Nobody had told him it existed. The drawing stopped the week after that conversation. Caleb wouldn't say why. He just said the man in the window had found a better door. 2 years later, our new neighbors moved into a house at the end of Thistle Lane, rebuilt on the same foundation as the one that burned. Red brick, black windows, a crooked chimney. Caleb has never drawn again. Not once. Not even his name. Story 2. The girl who drew her own funeral. My daughter Wren was 6 when her drawing started scaring the other kids at school. Not violent, nothing like that. Just wrong. She'd draw herself lying down, eyes closed, hands folded over her chest, flowers all around her. She'd title them things like Wren's Special Day and hand them to her teacher with a proud little smile, like she'd drawn a birthday party. Her teacher called me in after the 4th one. I asked Wren why she kept drawing herself like that. She said, "That's not me. That's the other Wren. She sleeps so I don't have to." I didn't understand what that meant until the 5th drawing. In this one, there were 2 girls, identical, side by side. One standing, one lying down surrounded by the flowers. The standing one had her hand on the sleeping one's chest like she was holding her down. I asked who the other girl was. Wren said she didn't have a name yet. "She's still deciding," she told me, "but she likes it better where she is. She says it's quiet there." We took her to a doctor. Nothing physically wrong. A therapist said children sometimes process fears about mortality through imaginative doubling. Nothing to worry about, she said. We wanted to believe that. The drawings stopped on Wren's 7th birthday. She woke up that morning and didn't remember drawing any of them. When I showed her the stack, she went pale and said, "Why would I draw her? She's supposed to stay asleep." She's 23 now, doesn't remember any of it, but she still won't sleep on her back. Says it feels like an invitation. 2 down, 1 to go. If these are getting under your skin, that's the point. But stick around, because the last one might be the hardest to shake. It's about a kid who noticed a pattern nobody else in his family caught, in a place a lot of you might recognize from your own street. Before we get into it, if you're new here, hit subscribe. This channel runs on stories people send in, and the more of you watching, the more of these find their way to me. All right, last one. Story 3. The man in every window. My son, Ezra, was obsessed with drawing our street when he was 5. Every house on Elm Row in order down to the mailboxes. It was sweet, honestly. Very organized for a kid his age. He'd bring home a new one every few days, always the same 12 houses, always in the same sequence. Then one week, every house had a man standing in an upstairs window. Same man in every drawing. Tall, thin, no expression, just a flat gray shape behind the glass. I asked Ezra who he was. He said, "He's visiting. He goes to a different house every night so nobody notices him staying too long." I laughed because kids say things like that. But then Ezra pointed to the 7th house in his drawing, the Whitfields, 2 doors down, and said, "He's there tonight. You can tell because the light's still on and it's late." I looked outside. It was past 11. The Whitfields' upstairs light was on, which was strange because we found out the next morning that the Whitfields had been out of town for a week. Nobody was supposed to be home. Ezra stopped drawing the street after that. When I asked why, he said the man had noticed him noticing, and that was worse than not being drawn at all. We moved 2 years later. Ezra's 30 now, doesn't believe any of it happened the way he remembers, but he still glances at upstairs windows when he walks past a house at night. Says he can't help it. Says some habits don't ask permission. 3 drawings. 3 kids who saw something before anyone else did. Or something that saw them first. What gets me about stories like these isn't the drawings themselves. It's the moment right after. The moment a parent realizes their kid wasn't imagining anything. That the crayon was just the messenger. If you've got a drawing like this, one that still doesn't sit right with you, one you kept for reasons you can't fully explain, send it my way. I read every submission, and some of the best stories on this channel started as a folder someone almost threw away. Until next time, keep the lights on.